The truth is, there are moments in my life where I have to decide between principles and how I feel in the moment, so to speak. Like, there are like very poignant moments in my life where I know I'll look back on them and think, damn, did I make the right decision? And in those situations, it's never clear if you're making the right decision. Like, it's always an imperfect decision. Like, do I take a job and advance my career, but move several states away from my social network, from my support system? Do I involve myself romantically with someone who may not be the healthiest for me long term, but who's a good person and who feels good in the moments? All these questions that, well, not even questions, decisions that you have to make. And in the chaos of life and the rush of life, especially in your 20s, these are like really significant decisions that really, really shape who you become. And we don't know that we're making these decisions when we make them. We don't recognize their magnitude, their scope. And sometimes I think, well, maybe I'm just full of myself. Maybe these decisions, these moments aren't that significant and they don't mean that much, and I'm just over analyzing and over philosophizing these things. Or maybe such moments do exist and I'm just overestimating my capacity to identify them in the set of moments that I have identified as critical are in fact, trifling or irrelevant. And the actual critical decisions are being made beyond my rational purview. And on you can go like that, deconstructing the moment, deconstructing yourself, liquefying the rational grounds of inquiry and self-belief until you're left with a giant jumble of questions and no clarity. But now at the age of 29, soon to be 30, these kind of things really weigh on me, like a lot more than they used to. I'm a lot more guarded about certain types of people I interact with, certain types of energy that I entertain. I'm much more aware of who I am and what I'm willing to tolerate and what I'm looking for, professionally, romantically, recreationally, all the above. And there is something comforting that comes with knowing yourself more deeply. Like, I definitely remember there were times in college where I was just going with the flow because I didn't know who I was or what I wanted or, anything. I just wanted to have a good time. I was out meeting people. I wanted to see the world, see life from a different perspective. But of course, all that begins to coalesce and consolidate around your perspective, which you have to have the courage to identify and uphold. Right? That doesn't mean standing rigidly by some set of principles or some framework in a very dogmatic or radical way. Although if you're called to, comport yourself in that way, so be it. But even, someone who's more open-minded, more flexible in their thinking will still have to have some principles and they'll have to stand on them. And there will be moments in life where it is painful to stand on those principles. It is painful to, listen to reason, to side with your values, than to side with or go with what feels good or expedient in the moment. right? So maybe there's a business opportunity that pays handsomely or has a high return on investment, but it violates some ethical or moral principle you have. It's going to require a lot of you to say no. Maybe there's someone who, you get along with really well, and there's a lot of sexual chemistry between you two, but you know that bringing this person into your life, into your space, is going to knock you off your mission, and it's really going to disrupt the peace and regularity that you've built. Maybe you have a friend and all they want to do is go to the club and drink pop bottles and clown, but that's going to disrupt your system. So it's not just about the principles you have, but about the system, the operating system that you build from those principles that helps to organize and routinize and schedule your life. Right. At a certain point, you just can't act from inspiration. It's going to require something more substantive to move you towards your direction, move you in the direction you want to go, in the direction of your goals. And you have to protect that, because the world is always going to try to shift you and pull you in different directions. And as you actually develop value, peace, confidence, self-esteem, the capacity for independent, rational, critical thought and reflection, you're going to meet with obstacles, you're going to meet with challenges, and you're going to meet with temptation. And especially men, we're so good at dealing with challenges and obstacles. We can be very bullheaded, very narrow-minded, very goal-oriented. But it's the temptations, right? It's the siren entreating you to stop and take off your armor and relax just a little bit, right? It's the seductress in many forms, not just women, but any number of things. Ego, pride, gluttony, all these things that can just knock you off your journey. But you have to stay the journey if you see and truly desire what you're after. And that's not an easy thing. So if you're on a journey, if you feel that there are temptations of any sort that are pulling at you, that are draining your energy, then most likely there's a little voice in the back of your head telling you that is so, telling you that she might not be the best person to date, telling you that job opportunity might not be so good, telling you that person might not be the best person to kick it with on a Friday or Saturday night. And you need to listen to that voice, and you need to provide space for that voice to deepen and grow, so that even in the heights of temptation and hedonism and the chaos of youth in the world, that voice can pierce through the bullshit and remind you, hey, there's something more than this. There's something beyond this, a moment beyond this moment, a morning after this night. And even if you have to go through periods of loneliness and deprivation, even if you have to walk in the desert for maybe not 40 days and nights, but just a little while on your own, figuring things out, that's okay. That's preferable to being mired in a swamp of distraction and energy sinks. So yeah, again, if you're on your mission, stay on it. I wish you all the success, all the luck. And I'm hoping to transmit some of my resolve and some of my positivity across the great void. So if this has encouraged you in any way, like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.